It's the next gear on podtech.net. I'm Matt Kelly. For many of you, you may not know that I'm an avid antique and classic car buff, and I'm joined today by Bruce Benson. He's Chief Operating Officer of the Lemay Museum. It's an antique and classic car museum. We're here at the New York Auto Show, and he's got a lovely array of automobiles on display for us to check out today. Bruce, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Oh, it's great to be here. Appreciate it.
First of all, tell us about the Lemay Museum and its heritage.
Okay. Collection was put together by Harold E. Lemay, and when he passed away in 2000, he had the world's largest car collection, 3,400 cars. He was an avid, rabid lover of cars, and we have everything from nickel-era, brass-era cars all the way up to some modern cars, primarily American cars, but we do have a number of foreign-made cars also, and it's an exceptional collection of cars, and we're in the process of raising funds to build what we believe will be the world's largest car museum. And when we're done, we'll have 1,000 cars on our campus and 300 or so on active display at any one time, and another 700 in our collector car center. And we're starting out again with basing this museum on the world's largest privately held collection. And you see some examples from that collection right here.
And the museum is located where?
We are in Tacoma, Washington, and we will be located when the new museum is built right on Interstate 5 in Tacoma. And it's a great location, and it'll be easy for people to come and visit. And we believe we're going to have an attraction that will draw lots and lots of people.
Well, let's introduce our community to this fabulous array of antique and classic cars from the Lemay Museum.
This vehicle is a 1912 Standard Electric. There's a very small number of these cars, and it's in beautiful condition and one of the prized cars in our collection. I received an award last year from the Kirkland Concours in Kirkland, Washington, and as you can see, it's beautifully restored. It's just an exquisite vehicle.
And while it certainly is priceless, would there be a dollar amount that you could attribute to this type of vehicle?
There probably would be, but I won't, simply because that's such a moving target. It's very, very hard to say what a price is. It has a lot to do with what the venue is that it's being sold at. So we try to avoid doing that.
And how long has this car been in the Lemay collection?
This one's been in the collection quite a while. The specific times, I couldn't tell you that. I don't know for this. When you're trying to track over 1,000 vehicles, it's a little hard to keep it all in your head, as you might imagine.
As we walk down the aisle here, introduce us to this next vehicle, an absolutely beautiful vehicle that certainly has design cues from the 30s.
Absolutely. It's a 1930 Lincoln Willoughby-bodied limousine. Again, it is quite exquisite. The coloring and the size and the look is just phenomenal. The interior is in wonderful condition. This is one that we're going to be bringing to the restoration shop when we get back to Tacoma, Washington, and be making it a little bit more roadworthy than it currently is, because it's one we believe the public will enjoy seeing it, so we want to get it on the road as quickly as possible.
Prior to Lemay owning the vehicle, do we know an ownership history of the vehicle at all?
For many of the cars we do. For this one, I don't know up front, to be honest with you, what the provenance of this car is. Again, we have fairly detailed records, perhaps not as detailed as we'd like them to be. But for this particular vehicle, I do not know what the provenance is of this car.
And Bruce, now we come to the era of the automobile that is really one of my favorites, the 1950s. We're sitting in front of the 1953 Hudson Hornet.
That's correct. It's known as the Satan of Moramar. It garnered quite a reputation for hill climb competition, set a few records as I understand it, and this vehicle comes to us from the Nicola Bulgari collection, who is a board member for the Harold E. Lemay Museum. The car was painted when new in '53 and quite honestly has not been touched since then. But it's got a very interesting racing provenance, and with the movie Cars that's been out in the last few years, obviously the Hudson Hornet was a vehicle that played a real role in that film, and so there's real renewed interest in this car, which is the reason it was put on loan to us for this show.
And Bruce, another vehicle that's on loan to your museum from the Bulgari collection is this absolutely beautiful Woody with the customized license plate of Bet.
You're right. It was actually a car that belonged to Betty Davis. It's a 1940 estate wagon. It's a Buick. Mr. Bulgari is a very, very big collector of Buicks. He has a very fond part of his heart that just loves Buicks, and this is one that had quite a bit of history. It's been in a number of movies back in the 40s. And apparently was so much loved by Betty Davis that it became her personal vehicle. And it's, as you can see, it's been lovingly taken care of and restored, and it's just incredibly beautiful.
And Bruce, would it be fair to say that the jewel of the cars that have been on loan to you from Mr. Bulgari is this 1931 Chrysler Imperial LeBaron?
Oh, I think most definitely this CG is, as you can see, is just a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. It's been completely restored for Concours competition. It's in phenomenal condition. It runs wonderfully. It's our hope on Saturday morning for the opening ceremonies to take this car out front and run it up and down a little bit of 11th Avenue. Perhaps transport a couple of dignitaries who will be here for the opening of the show, but it's a crowd pleaser. People look at it and just adore the look of the car. It truly is magnificent.
They really don't make them like this anymore, do they?
I wish they did, but they really don't. They really don't. But that's the allure of the car. It's been lovingly cared for through the years. It's been restored to be in just fantastic condition, and it runs every bit as good as it looks.
And Bruce, another car that they don't make today, if they ever made it, was the 1967 Chevrolet Astra 1 Concept, an absolutely beautiful vehicle as well.
Yes, this vehicle comes to us from the GM Heritage Collection in Detroit. It was actually unveiled at the New York Auto Show 40 years ago this year. So it's quite special when you look at it. You see a lot of the Corvette in the front end. It's a wonderful car. Ed Wellborn of General Motors, Vice President of General Motors, was gracious enough to permit us to bring this car to the New York Auto Show to celebrate its 40th anniversary. But as you can see, it's sleek, it's low slung, it evokes speed just by looking at it. So we're very pleased to have this with us.
And very forward-thinking for 1967, still forward-thinking even for today.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's a lot of folks that have walked up here who have taken a look at this and thought it was a relatively new car. And yet they're amazed when they find out it was unveiled here 40 years ago. And it really is special. We're thrilled to have it here.
And moving to another concept vehicle released by General Motors, the Ultralite.
Yes, this is 1992 concept car by General Motors. And again, it's one that we're thrilled to have. A lot of people look at it, and again, it evokes a lot of things that you might see up on the main floor today. Has a very futuristic look about it. Has great history. And again, the GM Heritage Collection has been very gracious to permit us to have and show their vehicles, and it's a great addition to our exhibit here at the New York Auto Show.
Well, we've enjoyed very much our personal tour of all these fabulous vehicles, taking us from the start of the automobile all the way to the future of the automobile in one very small moment here on the Next Gear. Bruce Benson, an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. I'm Matt Kelly for the Next Gear on podtech.net.